Starting the ceremony shortly, if we can go ahead and make our way to our seats. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Now the mic's working better. On behalf of the Apprentice School Department of Athletics, allow me to welcome you to the 5th Annual Apprentice School Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Walker McCrary. I am extremely honored to be able to MC tonight's event. Very special event. Tonight we'll induct 6 new faces into the Apprentice School Athletics Hall of Fame. The history of athletics at the Apprentice School spans over 100 years, and these 6 individuals we're honoring tonight are absolutely more than deserving of the title of Hall of Famer and having their legacy cemented in our history books. From the gridiron, the wrestling mats, the track, the hardwood, everywhere in between, these 6 individuals have absolutely left a lasting impression on where we are today as an athletic department. In fact, over the past year, we've seen great successes in our athletic department. Our football team won the Neptune Bowl last year, went 9-1. Our golf team placed 3rd at the national tournament in the USCAA. Both basketball teams made the national tournament for the first time in a long time that we've had both at the same time. Our wrestling team finished 3rd at the NCAA national tournament, and our baseball team won the 2022 national championship as well. Additionally, our department has seen more notoriety across all social medias, a new athletics website, and of course our local news outlets. And none of this could have happened without the foundation that each of tonight's inductees helped to build during their time as a member of this athletic department. Yes, of course. This night wouldn't have been possible without the support of our sponsors of tonight's event, Bayport Credit Union, Worley's Home Services, the F. Farrell Sanders family, and Teagle Financial Services. Can we give all of those companies a round of applause for their support tonight? As we get started at this time, I'd like to welcome up to the podium our Director of Athletics, Jeff Enott, for a few opening remarks.
Thank you. Good evening. As Walker said, my name is Jeff Enott. I am the Director of Athletics here at the Apprentice School. This is my second stint here. I was here about 6-7 years ago as the Assistant Athletic Director. And when I saw this opportunity opened up again, I just jumped at the chance to come back and be a part of this great program. The Apprentice School, the Shipyard, it's been very good to my family and also my time here. I'm very thankful. So, just seeing everyone here, there's a lot of history in the room and just a lot of legends and everything that have done their part to make the Apprentice School what it is today. And, I'm just hearing the conversations, during our social time and just seeing the laughs, and it's just a welcoming sight. And I'm glad again to be a part of this place and a part of the program. We're trying to keep it from being the best kept secret in Newport News. We wanted to get it out there and let more people know about the program and build the program and just bring more recognition to the program. And it's because of you guys that have laid the groundwork ahead of the athletes that we have today. We can do that kind of thing. And tonight is your night to honor you. All the hard work, if it was in athletics or if it was administrative, if it was helping us step into that unknown world of social media and get our name out there more and stats and be able to track records and all that kind of stuff. We are forever thankful for the groundwork that you guys have laid. Before I step to the side, I just want to recognize a few folks that we have here this evening. We have our Director of Education, Dr. McCain, and her husband. Also like to recognize Manager of Craft Training, Jimmy Jessup is here. And we also have Regina McLean. She is the Manager of Admissions and Student Services. Yep. We were missing one other part of our leadership team, but definitely thankful for you guys to be here. I'd also like to recognize, you don't have to stand up, but our athletic club board that's here. Really appreciate you guys being here and supporting. I'd also like to thank Sean Hanahan, our head athletic trainer, for being here. We have a few of our head coaches and assistant coaches here. And also, I'm sorry, we were able to bring on Aisha Small. She's our new assistant athletic director. So I'm very thankful to have her. And a lot of this wouldn't be possible without these last three folks. And it's Mark and Cindy Tomlin. Very thankful for all the efforts that they do, not only for tonight and just for the athletic program, period. A lot of this wouldn't happen without those two. And then and as you will learn as we get into the evening, the importance of a sports information director. I can't tell you how thankful I am. I've been back for 4 months, and to have Walker as my right-hand man and to help me get things done and to help promote our brand and help to promote our sports and just let people know who we are. I'm just really thankful because it's a lot of work, and he is putting us on the map in so many different ways. We were able to break some barriers throughout the shipyard that haven't been done before on the social media platforms, and I'm just very thankful for him. And we still got work to do, and we're going to keep chugging along. But again, enjoy your evening, and congratulations to our inductees. And last thing, I know I don't want to waste too much of your time. I know you are hungry. We had a really good day yesterday, even though a small group, but we had a really good day for our first annual Hall of Fame golf tournament. We already have a date for next year, so we'll get that out. But everyone that played in the golf tournament yesterday, thank you. I know the weather wasn't the best, but there were some low scores, so it didn't keep people from playing well. So again, enjoy your evening, and I'd like to call up Dr. McCain.
Without a vision, people perish. When I think about the Hall of Fame inductees, and I go back to Homer L. Ferguson. Homer L. Ferguson founded the apprentice school, but he founded it upon certain principles. And one of those principles was athletics. I can remember walking into the apprentice school about 5.5 years ago, and people, met with me, of course. I was the new kid on the block. And several people said, well, I think you should get rid of athletics. And so here I am like, wow, I'm just walking through the door and you're telling me what to get rid of. How about let's get rid of you? No, just kidding. So I looked at the history of it and the why behind athletics. And people always ask me, well, why do you guys have athletics? And so historically, I don't know if you know the story or not, but When the apprentice school was founded, after work hours, what do young men do? They play. They play. And Homer L. Ferguson found out that they were playing too much and realized that he needed to channel that energy into something else. And so he said, well, what about athletics? If they work all day, 8 hours, get off work, get a little downtime, and go get into athletics, maybe, just maybe, they will behave themselves because, of course, you know, they were getting into a lot of trouble. That's what 18-year-olds do. Surely, I was 18 and I got in a lot of trouble a long time ago, but that, you know how that goes. But I just thank God for the visionary. And when I think about legacy and legends and leaders, that's what the apprentice school produces. And so it was Homer L. Ferguson's vision, but the athletes that have come through the apprentice school, we're recognizing the best of the best tonight. You are the Hall of Fame inductees that have allowed us to stay relevant for 104 years. You can clap right there. And we are still relevant in the 21st century on social media, doing what we do, winning football games, winning baseball games, relevant, staying relevant. And guess what? We're standing on the shoulders of giants. You guys are giants. You are the best of the best that have come through the apprentice school. It doesn't get any better than that. And so guess what? Because of your legacy, because of the things that you've done to promote Builders Athletics, we will continue to get better and better. Our future is bright. The athletes that we are recruiting now can look up to you and realize that, wow, they were champions in their own right. And because you're champions in your own right, we're continuing to produce those champions, not only on the athletic field, but also in the classroom. And so I say to you and your families tonight, would you please stand, all the inductees? Let's please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's salute, let's celebrate. Let's salute, let's celebrate. Thank you for being the leaders that you are, and thank you for all that you have done for the apprentice school. And at this time, I'm going to call Kimberly Jordan Dillard. She is the Apprentice Athletic Club president, to give you greetings. Enjoy your night, and hopefully I will get to speak to every family member, not just the inductees, but every family member.
Good evening. As she said, my name is Kimberly Jordan Dillard. I am the Apprentice School Athletic president. I want to say thank you for paving the way for Builder Athletics. As she stated, we wouldn't still have this program without all of your hard work and dedication, so thank you so much. You can clap for that one too. And I'll be the third to say congratulations to all the inductees. I really do encourage you to stay connected with Builder Athletics. We do have barcodes out there so you can scan and become a member. We do offer a lot. We have a lot of activities, and our main goal is to support builders. Make sure they have the uniforms, all of the equipment that they need, so we make that experience great for them. So come on and be a part of Builders, and I'm gonna say go Builders.
Before tonight's dinner is served, make sure that you're sitting at the seat with your name. That way you get the meal that you ordered. Just putting that out there. Dinner will be served following the invocation. So I'll give the invocation and we can start eating. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the opportunity, dear God, to honor these inductees and everything that they've done for this department through their times here at the Apprentice School. And God, I ask that you just continue to bless us and bless this food. Let it nourish our bodies, and continue to work through us and guide us and direct us, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Gentlemen, please continue to eat, drink, have a great time. But at this point, is this working? There we go. Continue to eat, continue to fellowship. That's what this time's all about. But we are going to go ahead and move forward with our induction ceremony programming. Things are going to be a little bit different tonight. For those of you that have been to one of these things before, we normally have our inductees stand behind a podium and give a speech and all that stuff. We wanted to make it a little more laid back, a little bit more, not informal, but a little bit more relaxing to take some pressure off of the inductees for having to write a speech and talk to a crowd. Yeah, well, we did. They're going to have to answer some hard-hitting questions from me tonight. So we're going to have a conversation, talk about their time from the apprentice school. It's going to be a fun time. So, but again, continue to eat, drink. The cash bar is still available for if you want to visit that throughout the night as well. So we're going to get started. For the inductees, what we're going to do when I call each of you up, we're going to go alphabetical order by by last name. So, David, you're going to be first here in a minute. When your name's called, make your way over to see Dr. McCain and Jeff. They'll give you your award. We'll have a photo opportunity. Then you'll come on stage. Not going to keep you up here for too long. Not going to ask you that hard-hitting of questions, but we're going to have a good time with it, okay? So let's get started. Our first inductee of the night, he was a two-sport athlete playing football and wrestling. His name is all over Apprentice School Athletics record books for both sports. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first inductee of the night, Mr. David Barlow. Congratulations, Mr. Barlow.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It is a great honor, and like I said, I appreciate you guys doing this.
Before we dive into the questions, if there's anybody you want to thank, by all means, the microphone's yours.
Oh, yeah, you ain't got enough time for me to thank everybody.
We got all the time in the world tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, first and foremost, this group of guys here that showed up tonight, they didn't have to come here, and what's really impressive, I mean, a lot of these guys I played football with and wrestled with, and some of the guys that play basketball, Mr. Cox back here, good friend. You know, we didn't play together, but we was in the same school together at the same time, and I appreciate every one of you guys showing up for this. I really do. It means a lot to me. And Coach Hoffman, thank you very much. Coach Tomlin, you guys took boys and made them men. Every one of these guys here tonight, great fathers, great jobs. Work hard, great productivity to the communities, still coaching youth and everything else going on. That's a shine on you guys. So yeah.
Two-sport athletes, so I'm going to ask you a question about each. We'll start with football, and I just have some notes here from the record book, just to tell you guys how impressive David is. 8 interceptions in your career, tied for 4th all time. 5 of those coming in your freshman year, which is tied for 4th of a single season. 219 tackles over a career, 6th most. 151 of those by himself, unassisted, 5th most, including 60 unassisted in your junior year, which is 4th most for a single season. With you on the defensive side of the football, what was it with that side of the unit? Because I think in doing some research, you guys during your career were something like 20 wins to like 13 losses or something like that, and a lot of them were games where you guys were shutting people out or low scoring. Just talk about that defensive side of the football and how that unit just seemed to work together so well.
Well, we all pushed ourselves. Me and Brian Douglas, we were both inside linebacker. He's got more tackles than I do, by the way. But that's the kind of that's how we became so good. Is we all pushed each other. I mean, we were every weekend after the game, we were looking to see who had the most tackles that evening or whatever. And I remember even during the games, us talking trash to each other. Hey, that's 2 more for me. You better catch up. It was always constantly, that camaraderie between all of us. It was great competition, not only against the other teams, but internally we all competed together in a good way. But yeah, all the guys, we all came together. Everybody was from different schools, different areas, different parts of the states, different states, and that camaraderie we all had, it just really worked. I mean, I can't explain how it worked, but it was great. We all got along, and you see, we're still getting along 30 years later almost. So, yeah, I appreciate every one of them guys.
And it's one of the coolest things just sitting at the table and hearing you guys just continue to share memories and stuff like that. I was telling some people that this is one of my favorite nights of the year just because I get to hear some of these stories. On the wrestling mat, 60-10, the best winning percentage in program history for a career. I'm sure a lot of the football came out in the wrestling in terms of the defensive side and the tackles and everything. How hard was it to be able to be a two-sport athlete and also do what you guys do inside the gates in the shipyard when you're going through this?
It is very hard. I mean, it's very time-consuming, but, when you get to spend, there was several other people that was doing the same thing, 2 sports, and my man James Beckett right here. I spent more time with him than any girlfriend I ever had or anything else. We even lived together for a little while too. So I'd see him when we get up in the mornings, and I'd see him when we go to bed in the evening. So, but yeah, it took a lot of time, but at the same time, it was very enjoyable. Everybody got along. Like I said, it was just a great. I can't explain how coming from high school, and then coming here to college, it was great because everybody. We all pushed each other. Everybody got along. We all hung out together. Everybody played cards or whatever else. It was always, the funnest thing ever. One of the big things is on road trips. Everybody hung out. We cut each other's hairs, playing cards. Sometimes watching fights way too late at night. But at the same time, it was great because we all knew we had each other's back the next day in the game. It was fantastic.
I want to ask you, since you've been through the program, if you had a piece of advice to give current apprentices, future apprentices, just knowing what you had to go through, what would that be?
I guess to enjoy it, the experience for one thing. The apprenticeship school is always, to me, every day I use skills that I learned at the apprenticeship school, and that's what's making my living right now, and it's carried me all through life and everything else. Enjoy the school, play as many sports as you want to or you can. I don't think they have cuts, so you can go out and play and enjoy it. I mean, it's great. Those guys, like I said, Coach Hallman, Coach Tomlin, they were probably the first time I ever owned a tie was because on the away trips we had to dress up, and I wasn't used to that kind of environment. And those kind of things right there is what make boys to men right there.
Well, David, congratulations on your induction. See, this wasn't so hard, was it?
No.
Yeah, I told you it wasn't going to be when I talked to you.
No.
Again, congratulations. An absolute honor to share the stage with you and to hear some of your stories. Again, congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction.
Can I say thank you?
Of course, yeah, go.
Yeah. Coach Tomlin and Coach Hallman were big parts. We had other coaches, Coach McCauley, Coach Freeman. All those guys, I remember how hard they worked on the practice fields, coming up with game plans. Jeannie Wakeland, who was our manager, or our trainer, she took care of all of us. She was like our mom away from home. And as far as the academic part, Danny Brookman, those people really, worked hard with us. They enjoyed watching the football and the wrestling, but they also enjoyed us doing well in school, and they really helped us all through all that. So, yeah, I appreciate everything they all did.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Barlow, the newest inductee. Our next inductee was also a two-sport athlete. He also played football and wrestled while at the apprentice school, albeit about 30 years before David came through. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome the next member of the 2023 Hall of Fame class, Mr. Jim Bundick. I'm going to give you this microphone because this one's about to die.
Thank you.
Mr. Bundick, welcome to the stage. Same thing that I let David start with. If you want to thank anybody, by all means, the microphone's wide open for you.
First of all, it's Jim, not Mr.
Well,
We'll start with that. But I really would like to thank the Apprentice Athletic Club, Hall of Fame Committee, and most importantly, the Apprentice School, who took a chance on me a long time ago, and it's been a huge part of my life and something that I've got a lot of value out of, and it's very, very, very important to me.
I mentioned played football and wrestled while at the apprentice school. Just talk a little bit about your experience being a two-sport athlete while also doing what you guys do behind the gates in the shipyard.
You know, I was working 8 hours a day and then practicing a sport. And as I think about football, you know, it takes a lot of work, a lot of energy after, you know, we've been working for all day long in the shipyard. But football was a lot of fun for us. I just looked at our team as a lot of guys who enjoyed playing football. Nobody made us go out there, but we wanted to do it. We did it every day. And it was a tremendous part of my life within the apprentice school.
I know that goes outside of the apprentice school because it was after your time at the apprentice school, but I think it's a pretty cool thing. You ended up going on to play at Marshall and was part of the team that was highlighted in the movie We Are Marshall that came out, I don't know, a decade or so ago. Talk about that experience of having played at the apprentice school, but then going on to play for Marshall football as well.
Right. I went through a 5-year apprenticeship program, and then I worked for 2 more years in the in the shipyard. And then I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Marshall to play after the plane crash. So I was out of football for a couple of years. It took me a little bit of time to get my football legs back under me. But, you know, all we had was freshmen and sophomores on our team for the most part. A few more players, you know, that had transferred in from some other schools. Sort of like in the apprentice school. We didn't have a very good team, but we enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun. And, you know, if you saw the movie was pretty accurate as far as what happened with that game and the rebuilding of the team. It was a tremendous blow to the city of Huntington with all the people that perished in the plane crash. And, you know, at the end of the day, once the movie came out, we realized, you know, how proud we were of what we had accomplished through that time period.
During your time going through the apprentice school, what would you say is, you know, some of the biggest traits that you learned and picked up and helped you become who you are today?
Right. I would say critical thinking, leadership, work ethic. When I left the shipyard and went to college, you know, all they asked me to do was play football and go to class for a few hours during the day, and I'd never had anything that easy. Many of my friends, you know, they figure out a way not to go to class or anything, but it really was the easiest thing that I had done. And all of those traits, not just for going to Marshall, but they've followed me through my whole professional career. I've gained so much from my time in the apprentice school, and you know, it's been so important to me that I can't thank the apprentice school as much for selecting me to be in the program back in 1964.
I'll wrap it up with the same question that I asked David. If you had to give a piece of advice to a current or future apprentice about going through this program and the struggles and the hurdles that they'll face, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say appreciate what you have. You know, I know as 18-year-old or 20-year-olds, we probably didn't appreciate what the apprentice school provided for us at that time. And as we look back, again, kind of repeating myself, but I use many of the things that I learned at the apprentice school in my business today and on almost a daily basis. And, you know, as we look at the education system throughout the country today, lots of student loans, lots of, you know, people that graduate from college with degrees that, you know, they can't quite find a job, or, you know, when they do, they don't have enough money to pay the student loans back. Those types of things, you know, for us, we got paid a little bit of money in the apprentice school. That helped. But I'm going to say, you know, as we look at the apprenticeship programs throughout the country today, I think we're all realizing how important they are, and, you know, probably much more so than when I was in school. But I certainly value all of that now.
Jim, congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame. Again, a complete and honor for me to be able to share the stage and to get to hear some of your stories. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Bundick.
Thank you.
Our next inductee that we're going to bring to the stage, he was the first full-time sports information director from the year 2000 all the way through the year 2015. Please help me welcome to the stage the newest inductee to the Apprentice Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Jim Heath. Congratulations, buddy. Here. Hi,
Oh
Jim.
my,
Hi, Jim.
how you doing?
I'm good. Before I give you the opportunity to thank whoever you want to thank, I want to thank you. For those of you who don't know, this is my second year here at the Apprentice School, and one of the very first people that I met when moving up here to Virginia was Jim, and he kind of led me in the path of the Apprentice School and told me what a great opportunity it is, and I'm honored to be able to share this stage with you tonight.
With everything you've done with this school over the 2 years, the honor's mine that you're up here tonight.
The honor is absolutely mine. So please, the microphone's all yours to thank whoever you want to thank, buddy.
Oh my. First of all, I want to congratulate all of the inductees tonight. Shub, Horace, known you two gentlemen for, we'll just say, many years. And I've always enjoyed working with y'all. Table 6, family, extended family. My sister, my younger sister, I had to make sure I said that word. I never hear the end of it. Good friend of mine, Tim Brennan, is a former SID at Salisbury. Reached out to came down tonight. Tim, appreciate you. Jennifer Williams, former co-worker at the Daily Press. Surprise, surprise. Hi. And I see several former apprentices during my time. Part of the party crew in the back there. Calvin T. Reed. To be up here tonight is, I was joking with people. I am currently at Old Dominion, and I was joking with some people over there that usually SIDs at a small school are the ones introducing Hall of Famers, not the ones being introduced as Hall of Famers.
My microphone's out.
Oh,
But I can talk really loud. I can talk.
I think you're good.
Over your time, 15 years, in 7 national championships. Just talk about the caliber of team of athlete that you got to cover, knowing what they have to go through, not only on the court with all of the ins and outs of athletics, but also with what they do inside the shipyard building ships and going through that in addition to the athletics.
I always told people that this place is the most unique school that does intercollegiate athletics in the country, bar none. You always hear the phrase student athlete. I always refer to people, when talking to people, that these are working student athletes. Because if you don't shine on the job, your hind parts will not see the field. There, obviously, plenty of times people have had to change lineup attacks for games, matches, because player A, player B, grades came out, not doing it, they're off. Teams, too many teams to think, but one that stands out to me the most is obviously the first championship teams. Basketball, 2001 women, 2001-02 both teams, 2002-03 men. Walking into that type of a run, it's makes it fun. I mean, did everything possible to get all the kids, young men and women, as much publicity as possible.
In that, I mean, I think one of the coolest things that you did while at the apprentice school, you helped bring athletics to having their own website for the first time ever. Just talk about that process, and I mean, I think Jeff mentioned it earlier in his opening remarks, helping bring the apprentice school into the age of social media, which you and I know, working in this field right now, is a field that just changes, not day by day, not month by minute.
Amen to that. Changes probably 3 times since we've been sitting in here tonight. Website, I got a call from former women's basketball coach Karen Barefoot, shout out KB, and got me getting involved here. One of the first things I said to Bill Casto, the athletic director at the time, was we guys need a website like yesterday. And over the course of a couple years, we were able to start one with a place that I actually had to send everything to them, and they uploaded and made it pretty on the website. A couple years later, we were able to get to a spot where I can go in, put the story up, put a picture up, link it to this, link it to that. We got the apprentice school pushing out more and more, and now with the new look website that you have helped spearhead, taking it to a whole nother level.
I got one more for you, and now I have a microphone so the live stream can actually hear me now. Again, SID problems. When you think about your time at the apprentice school and being a part of this Hall of Fame now with a lot of athletes that you helped promote, what comes to mind? What feelings come to mind? Yeah, this is the hard-hitting one.
I made sure I grabbed a handkerchief before I left the house tonight. Humbled doesn't begin to describe it. As I mentioned to you, I was on a bus with ODU women's tennis team heading to NCAA regionals back in May, and final votes and everything were going on. I had told one of the coaches, he was like, if we're not playing, I'm coming. Unfortunately, they are playing tonight. But last year at this event, I think everybody but one maybe was during my tenure here. And all of them came to me and said, why aren't you in? You need to be in this. I'm like, we'll see. Lo and behold, when interim AD Sean Hanrahan gave me the call with this, to say I became emotional would put it mildly. And those of you that know me well know how you've seen me with my dad and mom at events. Programs are with me from their funeral because they needed to be here tonight.
Well, yes. Congratulations, Jim. More than deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. And again, just an absolute congratulations and honored to share the stage with you.
One last shout out, Paul Hoffman, Phil and Lee Gennaro, and the surprise of the night for me, Robert Lewis. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Heath. Our next inductee, got to see where I am on our program here. He ran track here at the Apprentice School in the 60s, probably, I think he's still probably one of the fastest people in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the next inductee into this year's Hall of Fame class, George Rhodes. Set it down right there on the table. I'll flip that around for you that way. There you go. George, congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame. Microphone's all yours for whomever you'd like to thank or anything you want to say to start.
Wow, I mean, it's so humbling to be up here. I just didn't expect this. It's such an honor.
See if it's on. Yeah, that's on. Just hold it a little closer.
Talk louder.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So, wow, again, it's really, I just can't fathom the response to this. But my time in the school and the athletics is just such a pivotal moment for all of us, because we enter, as somebody mentioned earlier, as children, and we gain so much out of where we've come from. I mean, doctor said, was talking about Homer and his vision. Most of us have had coaches and supervisors that have kept us out of trouble and given us that carrot that has brought us to the success that we have. And that vision is amazing. And I certainly appreciate my time here and how I've been able to use what I learned and the confidence gained. I mean, most of us are working in different parts. I mean, working on an aircraft carrier and seeing that you know how to start that thing up, that'll give you confidence.
I want to talk a lot more about your time in the yard, but just so that you guys hear some of the accolades, record at the 100-yard dash, 200, 400, 4x400, was part of 2 undefeated track teams. He was Athlete of the Year in 1970 here at the Apprentice School. And we were talking at the dinner table, the track where you guys ran, right there on the water, a lot of people, you know, you see Usain Bolt run and all the sprinters run. They're not running into a headwind like you guys did on the track right there on the waterfront. Just talk about how tough that was on you guys and how visiting teams took that whenever they came and ran here.
Well, the first thing they had to understand is that we were at a cinder track, and everybody's running on composites that are just phenomenal. But that headwind coming off the river, you know, most of our meets were at night on the lights. They just didn't expect it. I mean, we talked about earlier mentioning working in the yard and following it up with activities. The athletics that we have, muscle groups were so developed in the yard for most of us because it was a physical job that we use those muscles, but we don't think about it. And it made us all better athletes.
When you talk about your time in the yard, and I know that you've taken a lot of things from your time as an apprentice and working in the shipyard, just talk about some of the traits that you picked up while an apprentice here at the Apprentice School and how you've taken that on into your career and forth in your life.
The mechanics of one, but troubleshooting, being able to look at a problem and figuring out how to do something different with it, to make something work that's not, or create something that isn't there, to take a machine and whittle down a piece of steel is an interesting trait that a lot of people don't grasp. They can do it with a piece of wood, but they don't begin to understand metal.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you also played a year of football here at the Apprentice School. Just talk about that experience and getting to be a 2-sport athlete in your own right.
Since you only run one sport at a time, it doesn't really count.
Fair.
Okay. But the football team is a little different because you work together. We all wanted to be there, and like you said, you get to know the guys that you're with. You're rubbing shoulders and sweating all the time, and that builds a bond that's difficult for those other people to understand.
If you had to give a piece of advice to current apprentice, future apprentice about your time and what it takes to get through this program, what would that be?
Trust your supervisors, the coaches. Somebody once told me what wisdom was, and it just sort of resonates. It's the ability to learn from somebody else. Don't have to make every mistake yourself.
I think that goes far and beyond the apprenticeship. George, Congratulations on your induction. Very well deserved and honored to share the stage with you. Ladies and gentlemen, George Rhodes.
I'm not through.
You're not through. Oh, sorry, he's not through.
So Glenn said that was one of Kersey's boys. And I guess Elroy was a real significant part of my life in that period of time, even after I left the school. But the walks we had together in his orchard off the lake, it was just, when you can find somebody that can help you with your struggles in life, hang on to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Rhodes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next inductee we're going to honor was the wrestling coach here for nearly a decade. A number of accolades that I could go on and on for days about, and helped lead the Builders to a national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest inductee to the Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Bruce Shoemaker. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right there. Do that. Turn it around so they can see that. Yeah. Bruce, congratulations.
Thank you.
Very well deserved. I have a feeling it's not the first time you've taken that picture. Also, a Hall of Famer at the NCAA. Before we get into the questions and stuff, microphone's all yours.
Well, I certainly need to thank a lot of people. First, Bill Casto for hiring me back in the summer of '08. I had an interview with him, and it was real good. I went home and said to my wife, Sharon, this could be pretty good. And she said, "You're a fool if you don't take it." So I went down and talked to him again, and it all worked out. I've also got to thank Keisha Paxton for hiring me 9 more times each year. I've got to thank our 2 girl trainers. The first couple years was Jen Linza and Addie Thompson. Was the next probably 6 years. They kept us on the mat. They were real honest with our guys, and they're more important than a lot of people know. All my assistant coaches. The first coach was Matt Butler. He had been an assistant for several years. He told me a whole lot of ins and outs about the apprentice school. I counted on him a lot. Micah Amrazovich was a junior at the apprentice school. He had wrestled 2 years. His eligibility was up, so we hired him while he was an apprentice. Worked out great. He's, in fact, the head coach now. And he knows enough knowledge of wrestling that he could be a coach in any D1 program. All my other assistants, Jovan Butler, Biggie Sproul, Marcus Chevres, Will Harcum, those guys were great. I hired them to help me teach wrestling. They did more than that. I learned a lot from them, and they made me look good. And they made the team look good. They made me look good, and here I am. I got last but not least, my wife, and I told you stick with me, we'll go big time. So we made it.
36 All-Americans at the NCAA under your tutelage, 27 conference champions, 32 members of the All-Academic team, 20 USCAA champions, 16 Virginia Sports Information Director All-State honorees, and of course, 2009 national champions. Talk about that, first off, the national championship so early in your time here at the Apprentice School.
Well, that's a real story. When I got hired, I had 8 recruits recruited by the coach that was there before me. We had 2 All-Americans that year at our national tournament. When we got to the next summer, all those recruits were gone for one reason or another. Nobody that was recruited the year before was on our team again. Now, of course, we spent the year recruiting, and we had 2 guys returning from that team. They were All-Americans, but they were not All-Americans that first year. The next year, we won nationals. We had 7 or 8 All-Americans. We had 2 guys in the finals. Our heavyweight won it. Another was second. We had a bunch of thirds and fourths. So, I mean, it was amazing what we did, and we got to hold the tournament at Hampton University, which was real good having it in our backyard. The year after that, we did the same thing. We were second that year. It just worked out. I loved the recruiting part. I loved all of it.
And that's an interesting part, because recruiting for the Apprentice School is different than recruiting for any other collegiate program in the country. Just talk about that process, because I don't think a lot of people realize that you're not just recruiting kids and they're saying yes to come here. Like, they have to go through the application process before they can get in.
Well, I got to thank Paul Hoffman. He was our key guy in the administration. In the admissions office. He was great. He helped me. I mean, they all helped me, but Paul was my guy. And, when I would go to recruit, I'm from Pennsylvania, and the best wrestlers in the country are really from Pennsylvania. So I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. I got a lot of kids down here. I had to tell them that, let me back up a little bit. I spent a year coaching at VMI. All right, I can compare this to VMI. And my line for them was, recruiting at VMI was, it's not for everybody. Well, the Apprentice School is not for everybody. You've really got to understand what you're doing, and you got to give it 6 months. And of course, you're going to either love it or hate it. You're going to love that money is what you're going to love. And so I would be honest, you got to give me 2 years. And I had to recruit the smart guys or they couldn't get in or stay in. So that was my priority. You got to be smart. You got to be a fighter. I couldn't take the guys that would get pushed around. I had to get the guys that like to push. All right. So we got tough guys, smart guys, and that makes a problem because they're too smart to wrestle after 2 years. If I can make another, 15 grand by working overtime instead of coming to wrestling practice, I think I'm going to do that. So I recruited it like it was a junior college. You have to give me 2 years if I help get you in here, and it worked out pretty good.
When you think back over your time as the coach of the wrestling program and all the accolades, including, as I mentioned, that Hall of Fame induction to the NCAA 6 years ago, what would be some of the highlights of your time being here and seeing your athletes be so successful?
Everybody knows how hard you work over there. Some days you don't do much, but some days you really bust your butt. That's the way the shipyard is. And I've only ever been in the shipyard to change my phone out or to pick up a van. I don't know the shipyard, all right? And that's why I counted on all my assistants who did, and they're still working there. But what was the question?
Just about some of the memories and highlights of seeing your athletes
Okay.
succeed not only in the shipyard but also
Yeah.
on the wrestling
Well,
mat.
they loved wrestling. I mean, they loved to come to practice after an 8-hour day work day. So, I mean, that's what I enjoyed, and I liked seeing that. But then when they work so hard and practice a skill and then get to a dual meet and they win the big match, or they get to qualifiers and they qualify, and then they get to nationals. And my one goal for everybody I recruited was I want to make you an All-American. That was it. I don't care if it's 8th place. I hope it's 1st place, but I don't care what it is. But I got to make sure you work hard enough to be an All-American. And we had the coaching staff and everything else that the shipyard would give us to make that possible. We had lots of guys win their last match at nationals, either 1st place, 3rd place, 5th place. They didn't want to settle for a loss in their last match, and that's what I loved seeing. Yesterday at the golf tournament, Marcus Chevrolet was there. He was the most talented kid I've ever coached, and he was very good before he got to the apprentice school. But working out with Micah and all the other guys, we had a lot of talent in the room. This kid was 2nd in the country twice, lost to a guy who from Army prep. The 2nd year he lost to a guy from Navy prep, and his 3rd and 4th year he ended up taking 3rd, and he superior decision, which meant he beat the guy by 15 points and they stopped the match because it was embarrassing. He won 3rd place twice by superior decisions. You know, that says it all. Marcus Chevrolet he's something.
Last one for you. As you think back on your time as the head wrestling coach, and you said it, you didn't go through the shipyard and stuff like that, but you helped tutor a lot of people going through the apprenticeship. What would be your piece of advice to current apprentices, future apprentices, as they're looking at this school and the opportunities that it gives and going through the process?
Well, you know, a job is so important nowadays, a good job and an education, and this place will give you both of them. I want to say it was easy to recruit, but then it was really hard to recruit. So it's, you know, you get the right guy, it looks like it's easy. You get the wrong guy and he fooled you, he doesn't want to work so hard. But you're going to get out of it what you put in it, that's for sure, and there's no place to hide over there. People are going to find out what you're made of real quick. So I think that's about it.
Bruce, congratulations on your induction.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Shoemaker.
Thanks, Rocco. It's really glad to meet you.
Our final inductee that we're going to honor here tonight, he was the athletic director here and also head men's basketball coach for over a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Mr. Horace Underwood. Horace, congratulations on your induction. Microphone's all yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I don't know where to start, but I know I never made it without the support of my family. My son was 15 at the time, who eventually became an Apprentice alumni. My daughter was 11 at the time, and here I am running all over the countryside. My wife asked me, she said, I thought you learned that coaching at college when you worked at William & Mary was enough for you, woman, and I thank you very much. I have to thank all the support from within the shipyard. We had great support from the lead instructors. They were a major part of our program, and I just can't thank them enough.
You were the athletic director here for over a decade, men's basketball coach for over a decade. Just talk about, getting to see these apprentices go from coming in as 17, 18-year-olds, going through this and becoming, full-time careers in the shipyard and just seeing them grow throughout the process.
Right. I remember as good as yesterday, Norm Sneed called me. He said, can we have lunch? I said, well, I'm teaching in Minchville. I get 20 minutes for lunch. If you can come up here, I'd be glad to talk to you. So he and Jim Wallace came up to Minchville, and they said, we'd like for you to come and be a part of the apprentice program, starting this year as a basketball coach, and we think by August we'll have you in full time. So I said, why not? I grew up on 300 block of 48th Street. We used to climb the fence on Saturday nights to get into the football games because we didn't have money to pay at the gate. So I felt like I was a part of the apprentice program back when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. So, my time at the apprentice school is kind of like you people that have children. They're infants, and you love to see them when they start talking. You love to see them when they start walking, and you love to see them when they progress to other areas throughout their life. My time at the apprentice school was very similar to that. When I went to the apprentice school, the only full-time coach was Norm Sneed, and he did admissions. Jerry Ringy was the wrestling coach, and he did student services. Norm took care of most of the athletics. And my challenge was to go from 200 students to 900 students. That's the goal they gave me when I was hired. That was a wonderful time. First thing we did, we instituted the application fee of $25. And my secretary, I could see the day we said it to her, she says, thank you, thank you, thank you. In a matter of time, her job got cut more than in half because over half of people applying did not qualify. They didn't have the math background. So that was a big step. That was Ringy and Sneed were the only full-time coaches there at that time, and the assistants were paid less than the high school assistants were. By the time you paid for the gas to go from your regular job to coach, you were paying money to coach at the apprentice school at that time. So that was one of our goals to move forward. We were a junior college athletic program. And a lot of good junior colleges around the state, and we had some good competition. The year before I took over the basketball program, they didn't win a game. So I figured I couldn't go too wrong. If I won one, I was moving slowly ahead, but that was a lot of fun. My first meeting, we had 35 people come out to the meeting. I introduced myself. I said, can I lay out a little bit about what I expect from you? First of all, we'll have practice every day after work. And within 5 minutes, I lost 10 people. Out of the 25 I had left, one was a female. I wasn't about to tell the female she couldn't try out. There wasn't no way. And after one day, she explained to me that girls basketball and boys basketball was a lot more different than she realized. So we're down to about 18 people. I'm talking about bodies, I'm not talking about basketball players. And we started to go to work. We played at junior college. I think we won 6 or 7 games that year, I don't know. And our goal was to move forward, but the Division III schools would not play us. I was invited, I knew enough people in the ODOT conference to get an invitation to the scheduling meeting, and so I was able to work in. The most beneficial of that was the track program, particularly the ladies track program. And you talk about Elroy Kersey. I lived 3 houses from him. You know what I went through. He was a great man, though, for the track program there. But so we moved on, and finally, in the early '80s, I lose dates quickly, but around '84, we started moving to try to get the Division III status. So schools that would play us, the reason they wouldn't play us before is they could not get points for an at-large bid to NCAA tournaments. So we started moving in that direction. Jim Wallace contacted every president in the area, Old Dominion, Hammond University, William Murray, and they all supported us. And the long story short is we established Division III equivalent status, and that was a major step. We played Ham Sydney, Christopher Newport, Mary Washington, those kind of people. So it really helped up level the standards, and then it also helped the quality of players that we were getting to come there. So just watching this growth take place, we started adding full-time coaches. I shouldn't say this, but I will. I hired Paul Hoffman as a full-time assistant. Paul was probably the best thing I did for the school. He's been a real friend and a real hard worker ever since that day. I'll never forget the night we went over to Norfolk. Norman and I went over and had dinner with him and told him what a wonderful opportunity we had for him. And he was at Maury High School at the time. And believe it or not, he came with us. And you know the story behind after all of that. So we kind of grew a little bit in that direction. We started getting more full-time coaches. We had some full-time, one of my assistants was a full-time employee in the company. In fact, all of them became full-time employees in the company itself. So they were not teaching somewhere or working sales somewhere and then coming in to coach. They were employees of the company. I'm going to tell you the best support that we had, and I mentioned earlier, was the lead instructors. It's my job to increase the enrollment and the quality of students we were getting. I had to cover every college night and career day in the state of Virginia and most of North Carolina, the eastern part of North Carolina. I can't get to that many places by myself. Lead instructors became my extension in those programs. They saved me. I was traveling with athletics and recruiting and other areas that I was responsible for about 32,000 miles a year myself. And I just couldn't physically cover much more than that. So to have a coach not have the ability or the capability to be with their students and their players is a real disadvantage. And that was a major disadvantage when I went in there. So we kept moving forward. We finally got some other full-time coaches. We've been very fortunate to have, like Brian Cave, when Burris retired, it didn't take me long to hire Brian Cave. We just had great assistants to move up. Jeff Hughes, when Elroy had to back down a little bit, Jeff Hughes took over that girls track program and made it something else. To me, that was the enjoyment that I was getting out of my job, to watch these people move forward for their own careers as well as helping the student athletes that they had. So it was really enjoyable.
And one of the things that you do now, you help promote the apprentice school with the Peninsula Sports Club. I know there's a lot of members of the club here tonight in support of you. Just talk about what that opportunity has given you to be able to share the story of the apprentice school that you helped to build and mold.
I got involved in Peninsula Sports Club as the athletic director at the Apprentice School, and my objective there was to expand into the community what the Apprentice School was all about. And I felt like I had to become a part of a group in the community to get that done. I've been a member of that organization for over 40 years now. There's some old timers over there, been members longer than that. But I think I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. One last question for you, Horace. As you look back on your time as the athletic director, men's basketball coach, what's one of the biggest takeaways that you took from your time and carried on with you after your time at the apprentice school?
Well, I started out in education in 1967 in Henrico County at Tucker High School in Richmond. And I ended up 44 years in education at one level or another. I learned in each of those areas, including the apprentice school, the importance of several things. One is, no is not in your vocabulary. That may mean you have to be flexible and do things in a different way to accomplish what you want to accomplish, but you must keep forces in down the road in order to be successful in accomplishing what you want to accomplish. I guess the second thing I've learned, not necessarily there, but throughout my years, I cannot get a whole lot done by myself. I can get a lot done helping you understand that you need to be part owner of whatever you're working on. Bob Gardner was at the apprentice school. He ran the recreation program for many years and years, and he was a very hard worker. But the one thing Bob had, and I told him this a lot of times, I said, you have what a lot of people have. You will not, we have the same problem in sports club. We don't have a lot of people. If I ask you right now, if I ask this room of people, how many would volunteer to go with me outside and fight a fire? How many would go with me? Or even some less than that, how many would go with me? But if you show them that they own part of what you're working with, they'll take over ownership. We had pictures in the gymnasium in the front part, and they hadn't always been there. I went in one day, I said, Bob, we got all these pictures laying in the closet over here. What can we do with them? As soon as I told him it was his responsibility, and I would support him almost anyway, to get it done, I come back one day and that whole wall was full of team pictures. And so I guess I learned the importance of teamwork and doing things together for a common goal.
Horace, congratulations on your induction. An honor to share the stage with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Horace Underwood. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give one more giant round of applause for our 6 inductees tonight? As I stated at the beginning of tonight's ceremony, where we are today as an athletic department would not be possible without the foundation that was set by each of you during your time here at the apprentice school. And for that, we're extremely grateful and honored that we are able to join us tonight and be celebrated by us as Hall of Famers. Before I get into closing remarks, I want to welcome Dr. Letitia McCain back up to the podium for a few closing remarks as well.
I think I counted 25 times I heard Paul Hoffman. Wink, wink. Paul, come on down. Come on now. Come on up. This is not on the script, but we can make up what we want to make up, right?
She said, you got to say something. These guys in the middle, they're example of what can happen from what Horace said. They took ownership in their own success. We had some great support. I do want to say there is an apprentice athletic club, and a few of these former athletes here were talking about how wonderful it looks. And I reminded a couple of them, and our number one businessman graduate, Russell Pettaway, winked at me and he goes, I get you. And this is a rendering. And reality comes from renders. That ain't the first time I made one up. But these things come about when people get behind them from their pocket. And so everybody who thought it was so wonderful, believe me, you're going to get a chance. But the first step is to join the Apprentice Athletic Club. And I hope that that's your way to keep all this going.
So Mark, let's put the rendering right. The render. Use Paul's new word. So just for those of you who may not know, as of 3 years ago, the Apprentice School became a degree-granting institution. We now award every apprentice an associate's degree when they graduate. So we will start graduating our first group of students next year, and they will earn the associate's degree. And so now that we're a degree-granting institution, we want to look like a collegiate athletic program. And we've been fortunate to raise $250,000 already around this effort. And, you know, we're counting on the alumni of the Apprentice School to really lean in and help us to do what we need to do to give these athletes a state-of-the-art facility. They deserve it. You know, last year we played CNU, and we beat CNU. Yes, we did. We beat CNU in football. And guess what they did? They refused to play us this year. Of course they did, right? But when I went, you know, and they had me in the press box, and, you know, they was, you know, putting it on really thick, and they didn't speak to me after we won, but, you know, that's another story. But when I got an opportunity to see their facility and be in their facility, I went back and told my business manager, Mark Tomlin, I said, you know, we've got to step up our game, because we're competing now for students that are thinking about other colleges. All of you you're sitting here, we recruited you. There are coaches here that recruited kids. How did you get kids to come to the Apprentice School? But can you imagine now that we're awarding degrees, even more students want to come to the Apprentice School. And so it is our goal to build this building, to build the facilities that we need. to not be like a high school. And in some spaces, we are worse than a high school as far as facilities are concerned. If you go to some high schools that are on ESPN, they have better facilities than the apprentice school. So we need your help. There was a young lady up here earlier, Miss Dillard, stand up. She wants your money. She needs your money, right? She can ask for your money. I can't. But I'm gonna volunteer everybody, we need your money. Mark, you want to have anything?
How many minutes I got, Jimmy?
You got 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. He always puts me on, okay. Yeah, I really, Dr. McCain says it all, and I will tell you this, she does not like the word no. She is a huge advocate for your school, your program, and understands what it takes to get the job done. Her vision is amazing, and you can see part of it is right here. The hurdles that we have had to go through to get the shipyard just to approve us to show you this is crazy. And if you worked in the shipyard, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, Jennifer Boykin has signed off on this to push this on, but the company's not going to do it. Right? Company's in the business to make ships. If we're going to take this from where Horace did, where we were a junior college and I was playing at that time, and get the respect that you want your program to have, we're going to have to take our athletic facilities and move the needle. Washington Lee came to our place last week, and I guarantee you that half of them didn't take a shower in our locker room. Okay, I'm telling you. So if we're going to be able to get back in that environment that you set up, that foundation that you built, we have got to do something. So now you know what I'm saying. It's there. We just need your help. And we've got the foundation to do it through the athletic club. We've got, Dr. McCain came in and we set up a foundation with the athletic club. The athletic club as a whole is very solid financially. As you said, she said, we've got $250,000 set up right now. So it's there, the challenge is there. We just got to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Many of you knew my mom, and she said it's better to be lucky than skilled anytime, which was good for me. But as I look in the eye of Willie and Mrs. Brown and Phil and Lee Gennaro, that was not a setup. We had not rehearsed.
No, we did not.
No, absolutely not. Scout's honor.
In closing tonight, there are a few other people I want to make sure are mentioned for what they do and how they made tonight happen. First off, I want to thank the staff here at the Holiday Inn Omni Newport News for their hospitality and service tonight. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you again to our sponsors for tonight's event, Bayport Credit Union, Worley's Home Services, the F. Farrell Sanders family, and Teagle Financial Services. Next, I want to make sure that we honor the Apprentice Athletic Club. If you're on the board, could you please stand so we can recognize you and your support of Apprentice Athletics? Next, I want to thank the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. This group of people spent months going through numerous nominations to select this group of inductees this year. If you're here in attendance tonight as part of that committee, can you please stand so that we can recognize you? Next, our crew behind the scenes, Dave Davenport, who switched out batteries for me and is running our live stream tonight. Bruce White, DJ, thank you guys. I know Jeff said this earlier, Mark and Cindy Tomlin, they have gone above and beyond in making sure that this night was extremely well organized and everything behind the scenes. Thank you both for what you do for us. Lastly, I want to thank each of you for being here tonight and helping us honor and celebrate this induction class, this 5th induction class into the Apprentice Athletics Hall of Fame. We hope you've had an enjoyable night. here at the ceremony. We hope to see all of you tomorrow at our football game out at the Apprentice Athletic Center for the culmination of this Hall of Fame weekend. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Out at the Apprentice Athletic Center. Thank you again for being here. Please drive home safely. Good night. Oh yeah, one more thing, Bruce, can you turn that down real quick? I didn't write it in my script, so I forgot it. Can I get all 6 of the inductees? All 6 of the inductees, if I can get you to come to the front.